Hey everybody, Ron the Future here. How are you guys doing? So today I was just sitting around my house and I was thinking of things that we don't have anymore, that we used to have like in the 70s and the 80s, that we don't have anymore in 2026. It was just kind of fun to think about different things, like when you're a little kid and a teenager, things we don't have. And I started thinking, like when I was maybe 8 or 10 years old, you get up on a Saturday morning. Of course, you watch your Saturday cartoons. Of course, this is mainly for people 50 plus. I'm 59, so the younger generation, won't know about these things. And my dad got me into building model cars because he used to build model cars. He got me into the real classic cars because he had classic cars. And we'd get up, Saturday morning, watch my cartoons. My mom would do whatever she had to do around the house, and my dad started taking me to the hobby stores. And we don't really have any hobby stores too much anymore. It's not like how it used to be. Um, the hobby stores I'm talking about, you'd walk in. They would have some like trains and train tracks and trains for sale. But where I lived, it was mostly like model airplanes and model cars, like the 1/25th plastic model car kits you buy. And then a few Hot Wheels, they would sell on rack, on the rack and all that. So anyway, my dad and I would go in, maybe pick out a model or two. He'd pick out one, I'd pick out one, then we'd go home, maybe start building them, painting them, and all that later that evening, right? So now, like here in Vegas, I don't see any what they call hobby shops. What I see here, we have, I guess you'd call them vintage toy stores where they might sell vintage hobby kits of airplanes or model cars. I've been in a few on this channel here. If you go back, I did a video on that. I think it was called Rogue Toys. It's a few miles from my house here in Las Vegas. So actually Henderson, I live in Henderson. And yeah, so these vintage toy stores have a little bit of everything. Model cars, vintage plastic model kits, a lot of pop culture things, from the maybe 60s, 70s, 80s. But I'm talking about just a traditional hobby store where you buy mainly model kits. You don't see them anymore. So I was thinking about that. And then my dad and I might go somewhere else, and then you'd get gas, and then you'd pull into the gas station and you'd run over the rubber hose. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then it'd go like ding or ding ding, ding ding ding. And then the service man would come out, check your water, in your car, the engine and engine oil. Maybe another guy would come around, he'd wipe your windshield for you. Then one of them would pump gas. And I remember slowly how that disappeared. I remember thinking when I was a little kid, I forgot what year that came out, but it was like, one gas station after another converting to that, getting rid of the gas station attendants. And then they'd put a sign up at the gas pump, self-serve or self-pump. I think it was self-serve, I think. I remember thinking how weird that was, Of course, I was too young to drive, I was only 10 years old or whatever it was. And I kind of miss those days, So now we have to get out, pump our own gas, which I don't mind. But that was a nice service, especially if you're in a hurry, you have somebody to check your water, your fluids, wipe your windshield clean, pump your gas. I know a lot of women don't like, getting gas. I don't mind pumping my own. I know a lot of women don't. And that'd be a nice service if it came back, to the gas stations. But now when I drive by the gas stations, of course, you see everybody, pumping their own gas, and It's probably one guy, you know. It's not like even a gas station anymore. The gas station is like a convenience store, you know, a whole grocery store in there, like a 7-Eleven or AM/PM or something. So I just started thinking of that this morning, and I started thinking the things we don't have anymore. You know, like, again, a little kid, remember the ice cream trucks? A teenager. It seems, you know, especially in summertime, you know, the ice cream truck come around every day. I heard one here in my neighborhood maybe 3 years ago. And it seems like maybe once a year they'll come by like once, which surprised me. And they play that like circus music. And I look out the window and there's no kids around, you know, to stop them to get ice cream. And that's the other thing. I mentioned this before somewhere on my channel. I have a lot of videos out there, but you know, you don't see kids playing in the street anymore. I guess they're in the house, you know, playing their video games or whatever online. And I kind of miss that, you know. I mean, like when I look out my window, because I live in the suburbs, there's a lot of homes around me. It's a big, huge neighborhood. And you don't see any kids. You know, you might see one was by on an electric bike real fast, zoom, you know. But you don't see the kids playing in the street anymore. You know, they play football or catch. You know, sometimes you see the little girls playing hopscotch or jump rope on the sidewalks while the other boys are playing football. So yeah, the neighborhood is dead that way, which, being an older guy now, I appreciate the quiet. Because again, you don't have the kids yelling and screaming and fighting or, you know, whatever. And then when you drive down the road, you know, the kids be playing football. And you just, you know, you're in a hurry, you want to go somewhere, and the kids take their time and to move out the way. You're like, get out the way, you know. But yeah, I think about that. You know, and I don't see too many kids on regular bicycles anymore. You know, I see them on the electric scooters and the bicycles. And boy, those electric bicycles go fast. I see them whizzing by. You know, they're like a motorcycle. So then I started thinking of some other things. You know, it's like we don't use the paper road maps anymore. You know, we got everything on our phone, calculators. And then when we're out, you know, we don't see telephone booths anymore. You know, we see them in the older movies. They'll have them. And I've used them a lot, like you guys, you know. Of course, the younger people are probably thinking, what's a telephone booth, Ron? And so I was thinking about, you know, the things that we used to use like that. I remember, you know, going places and then you remember you have to make a call, or you want to make a call to somebody, your parents, a friend. And you have to, so I have to find a gas station, because gas stations usually have telephone booths, you know, on the corner. Or you have to find a telephone booth, you know. And how many times if we found them, we didn't have the right change or any change, you know. I wasn't a big one on carrying pocket change, but I always had cash in my wallet, always, you know, and emergency money and stuff. So then you have to go in the gas station, get a pack of gum or something to break $1 to get the change, you know, out to the phone booth. And that's if the phone booth worked. There's been several times, I don't know, it didn't work, or the cord, you know, somebody cut it from the phone or pulled it out of the phone. So yeah, I was thinking about that, you know, like you guys, anybody probably over 50, you used phone booths probably hundreds of times, you know. So it's nice, you know, with the cell phones now, it's right there, you know. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, and then, you know, things we didn't have back in the 70s and 80s, you know. Of course, we had taxi cabs, but we had no Uber, you know, and ride shares. Then the streaming services, you know. We had the old TVs. Do you guys miss those old TV sets? I don't anymore. When the flat screens came out, the more rectangle TVs, I think they came out like around 20 years ago. And of course, like you guys, I was used to watching the square TV, right? And then I went to a doctor's office and they had a brand new, the rectangle, or I just forgot the word now. Well, anyway, the flat screen, TV on the wall, way up high on the wall. We had a rectangle. And I kept thinking how weird that is. I know that's where society's going, because it was new back then, going from the square to the rectangle. And it was weird because I was watching it. I said, this is weird. The TV's longer and it's just weird. I'm thinking, I wonder if this is a fad or if it's going to go back to the regular square. Oh, and it didn't. All of a sudden people started getting the flat screens really quick. And then before you know it, we all got one. It's weird how life works like that. The computers came out, we get them, and the cell phones come out, we all get them. The rectangle flat screen TVs come out, we all get them. And then I started thinking about the stores. We used to go to. Now, depending what part of America you live in, might be different. So I've always lived on the West Coast. Was born and raised in Southern California. Now I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And when I was like 10, again around 8, 10 years old, we had the store called Gemco, Gemco. And that was kind of like Zodi's. Oh, a lot of you'll remember that, Zodi's. Gemco went out of business, of course. Zodi's went out. Remember Woolworths? Yeah, so I'm going way, way back. I don't even know when Woolworths opened up. Like the 40s or 50s or something. I didn't Google it to find out. Oh, and that's the other thing. We're all Googling now. Before, when we wanted to learn a word or a meaning of a word, we had the dictionary, we had the encyclopedias. Now we're on our phone and we Google. How do you spell this? What does this word mean? I use Google a lot. I'm sure you guys do too. So it's just weird how we all got in this habit, but yet we're all doing the same thing, shop in the same places. Toys R Us went out, Kmart went out. Those are most of the stores we shopped in. And now we all go to Walmart. It's like Walmart took over everything, right? It's like they're the kings of everything. And I even know rich people, really rich people, that have to shop at Walmart. Either they want a discount on certain things, they just don't want to pay a high price somewhere else, or it's the only place you can get it. Oh yeah, and then of course shopping online. I'm not big on that. Personally, I'd rather go in person. If it's a phone or, no, I don't collect Hot Wheels anymore. That's why I turned this channel more into commentary, because I started off this channel 9 years ago collecting Hot Wheels and comic books. You can go back. I'm still getting views on them, the ones I made from 8, 9 years ago, which is fun to see. But a while back, a few years ago, I was online. I was looking for a certain Hot Wheel, a VW Bug, and I found it. And had the surfboards on it, kind of like the California beach vibe. And they only had one, and I ordered it. And then I waited, I don't know, three or 4 days for it to get here. And then when it got here, I made the mistake of not opening up the package right when I got it. So whenever you get something, open it up either that day or soon, the next day. And I kept saying, I'll do it tomorrow. And when tomorrow came, I kept saying that. Well, I'll get it tomorrow. I'm busy. I have somewhere to go. Well, I don't know, 15, 16, 30 days, whatever it was. I had the box just set aside somewhere in my room. Then I thought, well, I better open it up, When I opened it up, it wasn't the California VW Bug that I ordered. It was a monster truck Hot Wheels, which benefited me in a way because it was probably worth a few dollars more, but I wanted the bug. Somebody made a mistake, and then it was too late to send it back. And then I ordered a pedometer to count my steps when I walk. It just would clip to your belt or your pants. And it took me a long time, several hours searching to find just the right one. I found it, I ordered it, again, waited the 3 or 4 days. It came back, broke. I opened the box, it was smashed. But the box was okay. So I'm thinking they put that in deliberately broke. You know, so I just send that back. So I really don't order. I'm probably one of the few people that really don't shop online. So after those two experiences, it just kind of discouraged me. So now I'll just go to Walmart. It's like, if Walmart don't have it, I don't need it. You know, unless it's a kind of specialty thing, you know, I really need. Yeah, so if you think of anything you want to leave in the comments, what do you miss or you used to do that they don't have anymore? Oh yeah, I remember the gas. It was Ethel at the gas station. No more Ethel, you know. So yeah, I was just thinking of the different things like that. And then also I've noticed, I'm not a big sports fan, you know, in the classic cars, most of you know. I don't follow baseball or football or anything. But it hit me one day, which I was surprised because, like I said, I'm not a sports fan. If I'm right, football and baseball, it hasn't really changed, right? Since the beginning, I don't know when it started, what, the 30s or something? Like baseball and football. I don't think anything's changed. And then what's weird, no new games get made up. You know, it's still baseball, football, soccer, basketball, tennis. Nobody makes up any new games, not as far as I know. I think, I don't know, is pickleball new? It's new to me. I only heard it maybe like last year. It says kind of like between ping pong and tennis or something. So if there's new games out there, maybe I just don't know, please put it in the comments. But I was just thinking about that. You know, it's always baseball, football, basketball, soccer. How come nobody makes up any other new games? You know, these were games that got started, what, in the 30s or the 40s? Now we're in 2026, still playing the same games? You know, I don't know, I kind of think that's weird. I don't know. We're still watching the same type of thing from the 1930s or 40s, which is great. You know, if you're a sports fan, that's good. I'm glad. But it just makes me think, how come, or who's controlling this? Or nobody wants to think up of a new game, a new name? I don't know. So yeah, I was just kind of thinking of all that stuff, you know, between Ubers and telephone booths and, you know, just how we live our lives. You know, the phones have changed. Remember the rotary phone? You put your finger in the hole, turn it, and then you wait for the wheel to come back, and hit another number, put your finger in the hole. I remember going into offices and the secretaries would have long nails. So they would use a pencil or a pen to stick in the hole on the rotary phone and dial it, make the circle, then it'd come back, and then do another number, you know, come back. Then it went to the push button, you know, and now we all have cell phones. So yeah, I was just feeling nostalgic today, and I started thinking of some stuff, you know. I know there's probably 100 more things out there. I didn't think of, like, you know, black lights and black light posters. I don't know if they make that anymore. Maybe you can buy those online. But I remember, like, the mall. You'd go in the mall and there'd be that one store selling like lava lights and black light posters. Don't see that anymore. Oh yeah, I want to mention that. We know malls are going out. I know several malls that have already went out of business. And I've seen on YouTube the other night, I believe it's called the Puente Mall. I think it's in Azusa, California, where they filmed Back to the Future. I think there's only like 2 stores open, and they're getting ready to close, and the whole mall's pretty much closed. And I think somebody bought it, and they're going to demolish it, and I think they're going to build a data center there. So now our mall here in Las Vegas, yeah, it's slowed down. It's not like it was 30 years ago. How long it'll be in business, I don't know. But I've seen YouTubers going around, other parts of the country. And it looks like a lot of them have shut down. So I knew once we started buying things on the internet, it was just too convenient. You can order something online before you even get dressed or get the keys to go out to your car. That's already done, on your phone real quick. So I understand, why people like shopping online. Like I said, I really don't care for it. I like to do it in person, because when I buy something, I want to see what I'm actually getting, not wait 3 or 4 days, hope it's the right kind or the same model or make, or whatever. I'm still kind of old-fashioned in a lot of ways like that, and that's one of them. It's like a lot of people have their groceries delivered. I'd rather go get my own groceries. Same thing like I just said, pumping gas in the car. I'd rather do my own, because by the time I learned how to drive, we had to, because there was no more gas station attendants. So I'm just kind of used to doing things myself, grocery shopping, pumping my own gas, driving, not depending on a taxi. I notice a lot of the younger generation, they depend, on taxis or Ubers. They're always talking about it. Maybe they don't like cars no more or want to drive. Maybe they're getting lazy. I don't know. I really don't know any younger people. Most of the people I know are 45 plus. Actually they're probably my age, probably around 59 plus. So anyway, I didn't want to make this video too long. I thought I'd just bring you back, down memory lane for a little bit. So again, if there's anything you miss from the 70s or 80s, like using a payphone, which I don't think anybody misses that anymore, or if you have any good memories of something, like when you're on vacation and your mom and dad, they're using the paper maps. My mom had those all the time when we were on vacation. My dad didn't know how to read a map, and he didn't want to learn. To him, looking at a map was like really confusing, But my mom was really good at reading a map. She taught me how to read a map around 10 or 11 years old. So anyway, yeah, just things like that. So if you have any good memories when you were a kid, drinking out the hose, playing football in the street, whatever, just leave it in the comments below. I'd like to hear from you guys. So anyway, that's it for now. You guys take care out there, be good, and I will